Part 2, Echoes of Impossible Survival. The Xenobiological Breakthrough. Dr. Marcus Bennett's hands trembled slightly as he reviewed the latest data compilations from the Earth observation mission. The Xenobiological Research Center buzzed with an electric anticipation that bordered on scientific hysteria. Captain Patel, he called across the holographic laboratory, these cellular adaptation mechanisms are completely unprecedented. Look at how these human organisms are rewriting their genetic code in response to environmental stressors. Captain Rajesh Patel approached, his military precision contrasting with Bennett's academic excitement. The massive holographic display showed intricate molecular diagrams dancing with impossible complexity, biological systems that seemed to laugh in the face of conventional scientific understanding. Unraveling the impossible. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the team's xenoanthropologist, spread out a series of comparative analysis charts. It's not just biological adaptation, she explained, her voice intense with revelation. These humans demonstrate a psychological resilience that defies every known metric of survival. The charts showed extraordinary data points, humans voluntarily exposing themselves to extreme conditions, creating technological and social systems that transformed seemingly insurmountable environmental challenges into opportunities for growth and exploration. The alien perspective. Thousands of light-years away, probe administrator Kylax reviewed the same data with growing apprehension. The Galactic Observation Network had never encountered a species quite like this. Their capacity for adaptation is quantum-level unprecedented, Kylax reported to the Central Xenological Council. They don't merely survive, they transform their environment and themselves simultaneously. The psychological frontier. Dr. Bennett discovered something even more remarkable. The human capacity for psychological adaptation was perhaps even more impressive than their biological resilience. Humans didn't just respond to challenges, they sought them out, transformed them into opportunities for growth, innovation, and collective advancement. Look at this, he said to Captain Patel, bringing up a holographic display of human historical records. They've survived ice ages, global conflicts, technological revolutions, each challenge becomes a catalyst for further development rather than a barrier. The quantum complexity. The research team discovered that human adaptation wasn't linear or predictable. It was a complex, quantum-level process of continuous transformation. Their biological systems, social structures, and technological innovations formed an interconnected network of adaptive intelligence. Captain Patel observed the data with a military strategist's perspective. This isn't just survival, he muttered. This is a species designed for perpetual evolution. Dr. Rodriguez added her anthropological insight, they don't just adapt to their environment, they actively reimagine and reconstruct it. Their greatest survival tool isn't physical strength, but an unprecedented capacity for creative problem solving. The emerging mystery. As the research deepened, more questions emerged than answers. How could a species evolve such complex adaptive mechanisms? What fundamental principle of existence were humans demonstrating that the rest of the known galaxy had missed? Dr. Bennett looked up, a mix of scientific excitement and existential wonder in his eyes. We're not just studying a species, he said softly. We're witnessing a living quantum algorithm of survival. The observation mission had transformed from a simple planetary survey into something far more profound, a potential redefinition of what it means to be a living, intelligent system in the universe. To be continued in Part 3, Crucible of Adaptation. Part 4, Borderlands of Existence. The Psychological Frontier. Dr. Juliana Werner stood at the nexus of xenopsychology and quantum cognitive research, her latest findings challenging everything known about intelligent adaptation. The holographic displays around her laboratory pulsed with complex neural mapping that defied conventional understanding. Commander Santos, she called, her voice vibrating with scientific excitement, we're witnessing something beyond mere survival. Humans are demonstrating a form of cognitive plasticity that's fundamentally alien to our previous scientific models. Quantum consciousness exploration. Commander Gabriel Santos reviewed the data streams, his military background providing a strategic perspective to the groundbreaking research. The quantum consciousness models suggested that human cognitive systems operated more like adaptive networks than traditional neural structures. Research pilot Kamala Krishnamurti manipulated complex holographic interfaces, tracking the intricate quantum resonances of human psychological responses. "It's as if their minds are quantum computers," she muttered, constantly reconfiguring themselves in response to environmental and psychological challenges. The alien diplomatic perspective. Consul Zren of the Galactic Diplomatic Corps studied the research with growing fascination. The human capacity for psychological adaptation went far beyond simple survival, it represented a fundamental reimagining of intelligent existence. "They don't just respond to challenges," Zren reported to the Xenological Council. "They transform challenges into opportunities for growth, innovation, and collective advancement." Borderlands of perception. Dr. Werner's research revealed something profound. Human consciousness wasn't a fixed state but a dynamic, quantum-level process of continuous adaptation. Their ability to reframe challenges, to find meaning and opportunity in seemingly insurmountable obstacles, suggested a form of intelligence that transcended traditional biological limitations. "Look at this," she told Commander Santos, bringing up a holographic display of human historical and psychological data. "They've developed entire philosophical and psychological frameworks that transform trauma into growth, limitation into possibility." The adaptive mechanism. The team discovered that human adaptability wasn't just a biological or psychological mechanism, it was a complex, interconnected system of transformation. Their social structures, technological innovations, and collective problem-solving abilities formed a quantum network of adaptive intelligence. Kamala Krishnamurti's quantum mapping revealed something extraordinary. Human minds seem to operate on a principle of continuous reconfiguration, treating every challenge as an opportunity for fundamental redesign. Beyond survival. Commander Santos recognized the profound implications. This wasn't just about how a species survived, it was about how intelligence itself could be reimagined. "We're not just studying a biological system, Dr. Werner said, her voice filled with a mixture of scientific wonder and philosophical insight. "We're witnessing a living algorithm of transformation." The emerging revelation. As the research deepened, the boundaries between biological adaptation, psychological resilience, and collective intelligence began to blur. Humans weren't just surviving their environment, they were actively reimagining the very nature of existence. Consul Zren's final analysis to the Galactic Diplomatic Corps was both a warning and an invitation. Humanity represents a form of adaptive intelligence that challenges our fundamental understanding of what it means to be a sentient, evolving system. The investigation had transformed from a simple study of planetary survival into a profound exploration of the nature of intelligence itself. To be continued in Part 5, Convergence of Civilizations. Part 1, The Quantum Horizon. The Unexpected Observation. The quantum scanner hummed with an eerie intensity, its holographic display flickering between quantum states that defied conventional understanding. Admiral Dante Rodriguez leaned forward, his weathered hands gripping the edge of the research station's primary console. "Dr. Volkov," he called, his voice cutting through the ambient technological noise, "these readings are unprecedented." Dr. Nikolai Volkov adjusted his quantum-filtered glasses, his Russian accent thick with concentration. "The quantum signature is unlike anything in our galactic database, Admiral. It's as if the planet itself is generating a complex adaptive resonance." Lieutenant Zara Kaminsky's fingers danced across multiple holographic interfaces, her eyes narrowing with each successive data stream. "Sir, the planetary conditions should be categorically uninhabitable. Temperature fluctuations of over 80 degrees Celsius, atmospheric pressures that would crush most known biological systems, radiation levels that would sterilize entire ecosystems." What they were studying was Earth, a planet that, by all known scientific understanding, should have been a dead world. Yet, the quantum signatures suggested not just survival, but a remarkable form of adaptive complexity that challenged everything the Interstellar Research Consortium understood about planetary life. First contact preparations. Millions of kilometers away, aboard the xenological observation vessel, Horizon's Edge, Commander Frel Nexus of the Galactic Reconnaissance Fleet reviewed the initial reports with growing unease. The quantum data streams painted a picture that was simultaneously fascinating and terrifying. Prepare the quantum-shielded observation pods, Frel instructed his crew. We need direct environmental sampling without risking primary biological contamination. The alien commander's multi-segmented neural network processed probabilities at quantum speeds. Historical records showed countless planets classified as uninhabitable, but none had ever demonstrated the quantum resilience suggested by Earth's preliminary scans. The quantum anomaly. Dr. Volkov's primary holographic display suddenly erupted with a cascade of quantum probability matrices. Admiral, look at this. The planetary life forms aren't just surviving these conditions, they're dynamically restructuring their biological systems in real time. The implications were staggering. Most known species would require millennia of evolutionary adaptation to survive such extreme environmental conditions. Yet these Earth-based organisms were performing quantum-level biological recalibrations instantaneously. It's like watching a living quantum computer, Lieutenant Kaminsky whispered, her scientific skepticism momentarily overwhelmed by pure wonder. Admiral Rodriguez understood they were witnessing something revolutionary. This wasn't just another planetary survey. This was a fundamental challenge to everything humanity thought it knew about survival, adaptation, and the very nature of life itself. Prepare full comprehensive research protocols, he commanded. Whatever is happening on that planet, we're going to understand it. Little did they know that their investigation was about to uncover a truth that would forever change the understanding of biological resilience across the known galaxy. To be continued in Part 2, Echoes of Impossible Survival. Part 3, Crucible of Adaptation. The Operational Frontier. Major William Donovan stood at the intersection of scientific research and military strategy, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic tactical displays. The Special Operations Research Team had been tasked with the most unusual mission in human exploration history, understanding the limits of human adaptability. Sergeant Fatima al-Rashid adjusted the quantum resonance field generator, her movements precise and calculated. Initial environmental stress tests are showing extraordinary results, Major, she reported, her voice calm despite the unprecedented nature of their research. Extreme environment protocols. The research facility was unlike any previous scientific installation. Constructed in a specially designed quantum adaptive zone, it could simulate multiple extreme environmental conditions simultaneously. From Arctic temperatures that would freeze conventional biological systems to radiation levels that would sterilize most known life forms, the facility pushed the boundaries of human endurance. Technical specialist Omar Sharif monitored the complex array of sensors. We're seeing cellular reconstruction rates that defy our previous understanding of biological adaptation, he said, highlighting a series of molecular diagrams that seemed to dance with impossible complexity. The Alien Observation. Reconnaissance leader VYX of the Galactic Observation Fleet watched the human research with a mixture of fascination and growing concern. The quantum data streams suggested something far more profound than simple biological resilience. They're not just studying adaptation, VYX reported to the Xenological Council. They're actively engineering their own evolutionary potential. Pushing the boundaries. Major Donovan oversaw a series of controlled experiments that would have been considered impossible by any other known species. Volunteers underwent extreme environmental challenges that pushed the very limits of human physiological and psychological endurance. Sergeant al-Rashid participated in the most extreme test, a simulated planetary environment with multiple simultaneous survival challenges. temperature fluctuations of over 150 degrees Celsius, atmospheric pressures that would crush most biological systems, and radiation levels that would sterilize entire ecosystems. The quantum breakthrough. What they discovered went beyond mere survival. The human test subjects didn't just endure, they demonstrated an almost symbiotic relationship with extreme conditions. Their biological systems seemed to treat challenges as opportunities for growth and transformation. "It's like watching a living quantum computer," Omar Sharif muttered, his scientific skepticism momentarily overwhelmed by pure wonder. Psychological resilience. The most shocking discoveries weren't physical, but psychological. The human subjects maintained not just cognitive function, but creativity and problem-solving capabilities under conditions that should have completely disrupted neural processes. Major Donovan reviewed the preliminary reports. "We're not just looking at biological adaptation," he told his team. "We're witnessing a fundamental reimagining of what it means to be a living, intelligent system." The emerging paradigm. As the research progressed, it became clear that human adaptability was far more than a biological mechanism. It was a complex, quantum-level process of continuous transformation that defied traditional scientific understanding. Reconnaissance leader VYX's final report to the Galactic Observation Fleet was both a warning and a revelation. Humanity represents a form of adaptive intelligence that our current scientific framework cannot fully comprehend. They do not merely survive, they transform the very nature of survival itself. The research team had begun with a simple question: what are the limits of human adaptation? They were now confronting a far more profound mystery: whether humanity represented a fundamentally new form of intelligent life in the universe. To be continued in Part 4, Borderlands of Existence.